Today I'll be going over the FS Academy VFR add-on for the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, but also working with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So I had these content before on my previous install of Microsoft Flight Simulator, so I moved them over to my community folder. And these are working for the FS Academy VFR and FS Academy Navigator. At first, it worked with glitches. Then they had disabled it in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and now it's working again. So now that it is working with the recent updates for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, I am going to try out one. I'm just going to do the VFR local flight. I'll go back over these. I probably redo this one. I want to see the difference. I did a video. That was the first video I did, how to use FS Academy for flight training. And so I want to revisit this and show how it would work in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 as compared to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So and then the approach circuits. So I want to use these tools to show how you can start your flight training if you're interested in becoming a pilot, or if you are already a pilot, if you can use this to augment or help your currency. I'm not sure at this stage that's what you'd need, but at least for people starting out, this is a great tool. I think, especially if you've never flown an airplane, if you've never been inside of an airplane before, this is a great starting place, along with the other training tools that are out there. I did also, in the first video I did with the VFR 1, I also showed about the options available with X-Plane and Gleim. Of course, yeah, that one is a real good program because that is based on the FAA curriculum, and it gives you the maneuvers that you'll be doing up to check ride. So that is a great tool, and I did a video for that already. So that's already done. So you could check out my X-Plane video for beginning flight training. And so I'll revisit that and continue some of the different sections or different lessons in there. And for right now, we're going to go over the VFR 04 lesson, local flight. And we're flying a Robin DR 400/100 Cadet. So it looks pretty nice. We're using the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, so it is looking more like a Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 rendering. Yeah, so let's go and start the flight. So if you've never seen this video, you get a coach as you're performing these missions or these tutorials, and they'll give you instructions as what to do and how to perform certain maneuvers in an airplane. So this is what we're gonna do.
You join us in the Robin as we're backtracking runway 32 at Thames on the New Zealand's North Island. Keep taxiing towards the end of the runway. We're going to conduct a full VFR flight completely in uncontrolled Class G airspace. To begin, we'll depart Thames via the circuit and start heading southeast. Now slow to a walking pace and make a 180 turn to line up.
I'm a little bit concerned about my frame rate, so I might have to adjust it. So let's turn this around.
Align yourself in the centre of the grass runway and come to a stop. There's no ATC here at Thames, so we'll broadcast what we're doing on the local traffic frequency. Thames traffic, Foxtrot Sierra Alpha taking off runway 32, Thames. Now set full power and take off from runway 32.
All right. Airspeed's alive. Instruments in the green. And we'll
Raise the nose to the climb attitude.
Oh, that was...
Hold the climb attitude and fly straight ahead initially. We'll join a left circuit after takeoff. Right rudder to keep the ball centered.
I think I have to pull up the flaps. Don't want to stall.
.300 feet above airfield level, flaps up.
Okay, flaps to 0. Can pitch.
We're passing 500 feet, so make a left turn to the crosswind leg, climbing to 1,000 feet circuit altitude.
Not sure where he wants me to go.
Level off at 1,000 feet and turn left onto downwind, heading 140.
140. Oh, okay. Level off at 1,000 feet.
Thames traffic, Foxtrot Sierra Alpha downwind runway 32, leaving southbound Thames. We're on the downwind leg of the circuit. We're going to carry on straight ahead and begin our local flight and climb higher once we've left the circuit area.
It looks really nice here compared to 2020. Oh my goodness. It's like night and day. I'm a little bit high, he's gonna start dinging me. So
now we've left the circuit to the south, climb straight ahead to 2,500 feet on heading 140.
2,500 feet, heading 140.
Keeping the Waihu River on your left, we're aiming for Tiaroha, which is the town just at the base of the tallest part of the ridgeline up ahead.
Okay, Tiaroha. Oh, let me start my climb first of all. I wonder if there's an autopilot in this airplane. Not sure, but what are these switches for? Let's zoom in a little bit. Wow, it's really nice. This is a file-based. Oops, I'm way off track. He's gonna start dinging me.
Keep flying heading 140.
There he goes. 140. And I need to climb as well. Let's see, is there autopilot here? Let's do this. Altitude. I don't even think.
Level off and maintain 2,500 feet, accelerate to cruising speed of about 100 knots.
Okay, TR is straight ahead. I will do something real quick. Not too much here. Don't want to go into the clouds. It's getting very...
Maintain 2,500 feet. Set power to hold 100 knots and make sure you're trimmed out.
Yeah, this is not a knot. That's the only thing. Okay. Add a little.
The mixture slightly if you haven't already to make the engine's fuel-to-air ratio more efficient. You may need to reduce power and retrim afterwards.
All right. So, what am I going to use for this? Let's look outside. So I'm trimmed.
We're now flying visually in uncontrolled airspace. At this altitude, we don't need to account for any cruising level restrictions, and we can simply remain clear of cloud. We can see the river starting to bend away to the left, set a heading of 150, pointing us between the dark marshland we see on the right and the high ground on the left.
Okay. 150.
Once cruising VFR, make sure to keep a good lookout the whole time. We're in uncontrolled airspace below 3,000 feet, so anyone can be flying around in any direction and at any altitude, even without a radio.
Alright.
If we were to climb above 3,000 feet, we'd need to fly at a VFR cruising level. Heading east, we'd go for an odd altitude plus 500 feet, such as 3,500 feet. Traffic heading west would be at an even altitude plus 500, giving us some separation. Above 3,000 feet, we also need to have a minimum cloud separation of 1,500 metres laterally and 1,000 feet vertically. This is instead of simply staying out of the cloud and remaining in sight of the ground, as we're doing here at 2,500 feet.
There's no one in the airplane, so
If you look to the left, you'll see the town of Paiaroa, and just beyond that a gap in the ridgeline called the Waihi Gap. Watch for traffic going in or out of there and continue heading 150.
Okay, there's no autopilot on this one, that's why. No problem. So I'm flying into the clouds, but I'm pretty sure my CFI is instrument rated, so. Yeah, this is much nicer and smoother as a downloaded package. I mean, I'm not gonna. Yeah, it's really nice. I'm getting frame rates up to 50 plus, 54, 57 right now.
2,500 feet.
Okay, I came up a little bit, so let's go back down. And I should have been at 115. I'm off track a little bit. I wonder if I could put any heading bug here. No autopilot, so.
See the highest peak on the left side? That's Taiaroha town just below it. Take us overhead Taiaroha.
Okay.
When flying VFR, there are minimum altitudes that come into play. Unless we're taking off or landing, the rules are that we can't get any lower than 500 feet above the ground or any person, vehicle, building, etc. That minimum becomes 1,000 feet if crossing a built-up area such as a town like Taiaroha. For really big towns and cities, another rule comes into play, which is the glide clear rule. This means that we must always be able to glide beyond any built-up area and be able to land in a safe place in the event of an emergency, such as an engine failure. It also applies once we start heading out over water. You have to be able to glide back to solid ground for a landing, which limits how far off the coast we can go in this kind of aircraft. We're going to carry on ahead towards Taiaroha before heading towards our next airfield, Matamata. Fly roughly heading 130 overhead Taiaroha.
Yep, Tierra. And then we go to Matamata. There you go. Yeah, frame rates are really nice. Oh, I don't want to go too low. I said 130, not 135. This is really nice. So
We've reached Tierra, so now carry on ahead for a short distance, keeping the ridgeline to your left. As we get closer to the ridgeline, become mindful of turbulence. If the wind is strong and is coming from the other side of a ridge, you can find severe downdrafts. So always give high ground some extra space when downwind of it. If you look to your right at about 1 o'clock, see the long straight road? Turn to heading 160 and follow the road, keeping it on your left.
160.
Follow this straight road and it'll take us towards Matamata airfield. The road is an example of a line feature. Line features such as roads and railways are great for following, but if crossing over them, be mindful that they don't give precise lateral guidance, unless there's a standout feature, such as a junction or a town. When following a line feature, keep it on your left side, as this makes it easier to see from your seat. Traffic following the line in the other direction should also be doing this, giving you some separation. Keep a heading of 160 to track the straight road.
I'm doing that, but I want to keep it left as you recommended. Matamata. Yeah, this point is called road. Alright, so let's look out. Let's take a look outside. This is nice.
We're going to enter the circuit at Matamata. Although it's uncontrolled, we still use our radio to broadcast our position and intentions and listen for other traffic. To enter an uncontrolled circuit, we use the standard overhead join, which has us arrive overhead the airfield at circuit altitude plus 500 feet. looking down onto the airfield to observe the runways and look for any other aircraft. The live side of a circuit is where the circuit pattern is. The dead side is the other side of the runway, which is where we do any descending down to circuit altitude. The road we're following kinks off to the left, but we're going to keep heading 160 as it takes us straight towards Matamata. Start descending to 1,700 feet.
I'm descending to 1,700 feet. Let me trim the descent. Okay. So there's Matamata, and I'm trying to see where is the entry. I keep getting lost every time coming here. So let's see if we could resolve this today. $1,800.
We make a radio call before we reach the overhead to give advance notice to any other aircraft in the circuit. Matamata traffic, Foxtrot Sierra Alpha, 1,700 feet from the north for overhead join at Matamata. Keep 1,700 feet for now.
I see a building, but I'm trying to make out that the runway.
A speed of 100 knots.
I'm looking at Matamata here. I see a building, but where's the field?
Looking just left of the nose, you can begin to pick out the wide grass runway of Matamata, with the white buildings to the western end. We're going to use runway 28, making a right-hand circuit for training. Maintain 1,700 feet and turn left slightly to fly over the runway 28 threshold, about heading 130.
130. Oh, there's the field now. Okay, runway 28. Okay, 130. That's where the entry is. Okay. Perfect. And I am... So that's where I'm coming in on. Okay. 130, Matamata.
Keep 1,700 feet for now.
Okay.
We're nearing the runway 28 threshold. Start a right-hand turn and I'll call overhead. Matamata traffic, Foxtrot Sierra Alpha overhead for runway 28, Matamata.
It's behind now. So Matamata is at...
And we're crossing the runway, we're entering the dead side. Start descending to circuit altitude 1,200 feet and turn right to cross over the upwind end of runway 28, near the white buildings. Matamata, Foxtrot Sierra Alpha descending dead side 28, Matamata. Bank angle. Keep the turn going towards heading 010 and aim to cross the upwind end at circuit altitude 1,200 feet.
I'm at... I need to come down.
Now we're crossing the upwind end, we should be 1,200 feet and about heading 010 as we enter the live side.
010. Okay, that's the runway right there. So right about now, going to turn around. Oh no. Sorry. Let's go back around. I am... There we go.
Bank angle. We want 1,200 feet until the base turn.
I'm just going down. Not gonna let me mess up. Well, I already landed, so... so I let him continue. He might ding me. See what he says. I know this is Matamata, so let's keep moving. I think he's upset that I landed without his, but he was confusing me. I knew what I needed to do, so I did it. You know, let's take off and land again. Let's see if he'll give me some instructions. I'm gonna come around one more time. This is a nice field.
Go easy on the controls.
Okay, you're talking again. So I'm gonna go around the pattern. Trying to build up speed first before I climb. Before I turn, sorry. So I am now at 500, so I could make the crosswind. Okay, Let's go up to pattern altitude.
Now make the right turn onto right downwind, heading 100, maintaining 1,200.
Okay. Will you forgive me? And he's talking again. I don't.
Matamata, Foxtrot Sierra Alpha, right downwind 28 to land. Matamata.
Okay.
Downwind checks, brakes pressured and released, undercarriage fixed, mixtures full rich, fuel on and sufficient, instrumentations T's and P's are in the green, and cabin secure. Notice how it's a little harder to see on the right hand circuit. This is why they're typically made to the left.
Okay, thank you. At least it didn't ding me like the other Microsoft Flight Simulator missions, where if you land on the wrong runway, it automatically... Oh. Basically, alright, so now we're on the end of the downwind. First notch of flaps, pitch down, 1700 RPM. I don't even...
Downwind for 28 is heading 100. Runway looks about 45 degrees over your right shoulder, so make your right descending turn onto base, slowing to 80 knots.
80 knots, okay, in this area. Oh, where are we?
Once inside the white airspeed band, take first stage of flap and hold 80 knots on base.
Where's Matamata? I lost sight of Matamata.
Matamata's runway 28 is grass and unmarked. It also has unusual dimensions, being about triple the width of a normal runway, at 137 metres wide. Make your own turn onto final and judge your approach with this in mind.
Oh, there it is. Runway 28. Okay, perfect. And 80 knots. Let's add notch of flaps.
Matamata, Foxtrot Sierra Alpha, final 28 for full stop. Matamata. Bring the speed back to about 60 knots and take landing flat. We'll make a full stop landing.
Full stop landing.
As this grass runway is unmarked, choose an aiming point roughly where you'd expect to find the runway numbers and keep that locked in your windscreen. The wideness of this runway will give the illusion of being low, so try to account for this.
Okay. So, pitch.
Power back and flare attitude, look to the far end.
Alright. Very cool. I made it to Matamata.
Great, we've flown from airfield to airfield with some navigation in between and made an overhead join to join a right-hand circuit.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. All right, so this was pretty good. So if you can see, this is more instructional in many ways. It's going to guide you in how to navigate, and it has some very useful information for student pilots. And so that's pretty good. I got an A for this. So thank you very much for joining me in this one. And please like, share, and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you so much. Please also give your feedback about what you think about this video. Again, FS Academy, they're using the VFR. I'm using the VFR, FS Academy VFR. So this is something very instructional and informative. So please take a look into it if you like. I'm not getting paid for this. This is just for my benefit because I want to be a private pilot. I have about 50 hours. I first soloed about 20 something hours, but I take time off. So I'm before resuming my flight training after I graduate next semester, I'm putting in some time to follow certain procedures using certain add-ons and software, for example, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024, and I've also with X-Plane, and I'm using with X-Plane, the add-on is, or the course, it's actually a course, is the Gleim software integration with X-Plane. So thank you again, and as I request, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you very much for your support.